Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Final Two podcast. Today we have a very special guest, none other than Johnny Drinks himself, John Rondi. Yes, sir.
Oh my God, what an introduction. That was a good introduction.
Yes, sir.
First time I've had.
How you been, John? How you doing?
Good, man. Yeah, weather's nice around here. Can't complain. It's all good.
Where you staying at, John?
I'm from North Jersey. Yeah, so when you guys mentioned you go to FDU, I literally live 25 minutes away, Passaic County.
Wow.
Yeah. So if you see some of our videos, we got like the big NJ sign up, and everyone's always, NJ repping, and off of the I gotta rep the brand, man. So
awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, let's get straight to it, man. Like, listen, I found out about you obviously through TikTok, man. You're freaking popping on TikTok. Over, I believe, 300K followers, 5 million likes, and you're just killing it with your pops. I mean, full disclosure, I'm not even 21 yet, turning 21 the upcoming year, but I don't drink. But man, watching some of the drinks that you make with your pops, I mean, it's just tempting. Like, I just gotta try these new drinks. So my dad, I showed it to my dad, and he really enjoyed the clips too. It's like he's not on social media, and like whenever I show him clips, he'll find it corny or whatever. But usually he tells me like that these clips are just like soothing. It's like brand new to him. It's like something he would get at like resorts, like the hurricane that you guys made, or any other special drinks like the bourbon tea and all that. I mean, like, what really drove you guys to start doing this?
That's so funny, man, because that's like the majority of people that we interact with. It's like, number one, it could be somebody that's a little younger or hasn't even drank yet, but they're always like, I showed my dad this, or I showed my mom this, or I showed my family member. And the funniest is like when people will show like my relatives, be like, oh my God, look at this video I found online. And they'll be like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, that's my cousin, or that's my brother. Like, that's he doesn't even know what he's doing. Like, that's the best part of it, is like, neither me or my dad have ever been bartenders in our lives. I think it sort of just stemmed from him enjoying the process of making a drink and not just chugging something back. So it started out, we were about to go out to eat like with the whole family in the city. So we were all like dressed nice, ready to go. And he was making a drink anyway. Like, this wasn't planned. And I'm like, let me just film this and see what happens. So I filmed the whole thing. It was like our first videos, like how to make a Manhattan. And I'm sitting at dinner, and I guess it's like 9 o'clock at this point. And I look at my phone, and I'm like, holy shit, we got like 20,000 views on this. I'm like, this is pretty cool. I check it again, I'm at like 100,000, and it's like 200,000. Then I wake up the next morning, it's at like 1 million. And now it's at like 8 million right now. So that's like our biggest video. Wow. But it's like the funniest part was like, I've never tried. And my little sister's been trying forever to go viral. And she hated me for like a couple of days. She's like, are you guys kidding me? Like, you guys get on one video and you're
didn't try it.
So, didn't even try, but I guess we knew we had something going. So I put another video up, and I was like, okay, this is kind of cool. It's fun for us. And, and we could talk about this, but when we started making sort of a business out of it, I started making some cash and had brands reaching out to me. I'm like, all right, let's
smart.
Go. I'm going to take this.
That's
yeah, man.
That's marketing 101.
It's not just for the clout. Exactly. You're not just doing it for popularity. You're making connections out of it. So like, how much time does it usually take to like set up a clip? Because I noticed like, you do a lot of editing in between. So like, take us through that process of how, a drink is selected and, videotaped.
Yeah. So that's like the big thing where like him and I, or he'll always say it's one take, right? If we fuck up, but we keep going. Like, I'm not going to, I'm not going to redo this, right? If you make one drink and it's bad, I'm not going to make another one. So I have to make sure that we get the right angles in one time. So that may take anywhere from 2 to 3 minutes to actually get a clip. And then I will do like some editing, like little stuff. I'm nothing crazy. Throwing some keywords in there, making sure that we're keeping people engaged. Because you got to remember, you got like, 20 seconds, if that, to keep people truly interested in what you're doing. And if you don't grasp that, they're done. And then your video goes to shit. So the words actually help a lot more than you'd expect them to.
So let me ask you a question. When you guys first started, it was more, funny, like I have fun. Like, it wasn't really nothing serious. But now it's like, is more thought to it, correct? Like, now is there a little pressure that you have to provide this type of content?
Exactly, man. Yeah, and you know what? That's like the worst part. Is like, now we feel obligated to put out some really cool content. And I think the best part of our videos is like the authenticity, and like that we're just real and genuine. We're making some cool looking drinks, and we really don't try too hard. So I often find like when we try too hard to set up a skit or set the scene, they end up flopping. And I always go back to like, okay, which videos did best? And it's the ones that, like I said, took one take. It took me 3 minutes to film, 2 minutes to post, and that was it. So I got to keep with that and just keep going.
I'll be honest with you. I never downloaded TikTok. I never really got into it. Like it's just one of those things. So I swear to God, I was just like, you know what? Like this is just another thing that's gonna get me to like procrastinate too much. When you downloaded TikTok, did you expect it to like blow up like this, or was it more like it is what it is? I just have fun.
You know what? I think it was because my sister, I was on it, or I don't even know if I was on at that point. And then, like I said, I think I made an account just to post that video. And then we went out, and obviously it blew up, and I was like, okay, let me just keep going with this.
Wow.
So yeah,
That's
I had
crazy.
Crazy.
I had no
Such a
intention
calm
of really
approach.
starting something out of this. Yeah.
That's awesome. I mean, I just want to say, since like I started watching your videos too, like, you know, I've just become a huge Sinatra fan. I never thought I would say something like that. You know what I mean?
That's
never
thing,
thought
man.
I would say that. Because you know,
no one
you
really
choose
knows.
that. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, go ahead.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's such a, you know, like you got that retro, like got that classy vibes. I mean, did you choose that type of music because, I don't know, are you Italian and then it comes off classy? Or I mean, you're just making the drinks with that kind of vibe, and like I said, that kind of class and confidence. You know, what were you going with that?
Yeah, I guess it's like everything, right? So we're you know, Italian Americans. We're from New Jersey, so we like Frank Sinatra. We've always had, but that's not like a fake facade. Especially him. Like, you know, I'm not a huge Sinatra fan, but now I become one because of these videos. So the first clip, but like it's funny when I don't put Sinatra or Dean Martin in the videos, they do terrible. Like they just don't get seen by anybody. Like
really?
I made a gin and juice the other day. So I used like gin and juice.
I saw that one
in the background.
Yeah.
And it looked like a really good video, but I was so mad. And I was like, damn, I guess I can't go any other option than just either Frank or like that old school jazz type of feel.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Do you feel disappointed if you don't do like these millions of views anymore? And does it really like, that is what it is?
Yeah. Well, you know what? I guess it depends. Like normally, no, I really don't care. And it's like the opposite, right? If something does blow up, it's fun to see and it's cool to, you know, sort of talk about it. But the only time that we'll get upset is like if somebody's paying me. We have a brand associated with the video and it ends up flopping. What I'll normally do is I'll apologize and be like, hey, look, I'll throw you a video for free. Just because like I don't want to start robbing people and have them think, you know, this dude is fake and he doesn't get real views. Like, no, if I mess up and for some reason this thing doesn't blow up, I'll just keep posting until one of them hits.
That's commitment.
That's just crazy how you're just saying like, they're marketing you. Like you just started this for fun and now there's people marketing you. This is basically kind of like a stream of income now. Like what?
Oh, yeah.
That's like
yeah. So that's like the funniest part, man. So I guess what ended up happening was, well, obviously we first had liquor brands reach out to us and say, hey, we'll pay you to post, which is really cool because again, it's no skin off our back. Like they're sending us free liquor, we get to post about cool liquor, and then we get paid for it. When I started making merchandise, right? Like I sell shirts and I sell I sell smoke boards, right? So you see us always smoke in the glass. And so now we sell those boards that we use on our website. So we sell like shirt and board bundles. And the only reason why I thought of that was I think I saw other people doing it and was like, you know what, if they can do it, I can do it. And I think the biggest part about selling something online is your brand, right? Like people want to associate themselves with not just the shirt, but you. They want to be part of that like community of Johnny Drinks lovers. So we first and foremost, like I made a really cool looking shirt. I made sure it felt really good. I wasn't going to charge a shit ton for it. And then, I started with a drink guide. So I made like a PDF drink guide. Didn't really expect much from it. Threw it up on a website and it really started blowing up. So I was like, okay, let me start putting almost like add-ons to what that could be. And then, we sort of took it down and ran with it.
You know what? Wow. It's so crazy you say that because that's one of the reasons why I started the podcast. It was like a form of how can I market myself? How can I grow? Like how can you hear a lot of people create these brands and whatever, and you're like, great for you created the brand and you created shirts. But if you haven't done nothing to get someone to wear your shirt, what is even the point? You're really losing money at that point because why would I rock your shirt if you are meaningless, if you mean nothing? No offense to anyone who has a brand, you know? So
or the opposite, if you're like a dick, you know what I mean? Like people just don't like you and you're trying to sell shit. Like no one's gonna buy your stuff. So it's like you got to keep that. Like I have like I guess trolls, whatever you want to call them, commenting on my shit, and like it's so hard to not reply and get nasty back. But it's like what do I care? These people are gonna talk.
Yeah, how do you feel about that?
Deal with it.
How do you feel about that?
Honestly, I think it's so much fun. So if you come at me, I'll come back at you in like a funny way, right? So if you have, for example, if you have no posts or no picture and I have nothing to really talk about, like I can't really talk shit back, I normally won't. if it's, especially if it's like a real mean comment, because there's no point. But if you made some stupid video, you have 10 followers and your picture looks stupid, I'll definitely come at your throat, just because, like, why not? It's fun. And they don't expect it, right? People are like, oh my God, I didn't think you'd respond. I'm like, yeah, fucker, I'm real. Like, you know, you're not just gonna.
Have you had any celebrities reach out to you at all, or?
Dude, so I just had on a recent video, John Taffer for Bar Rescue.
That's huge.
Dude, so he commented, he's like, get this man some more bourbon. And I commented back, I was like, shut it down. You got to come to our, you know, our basement and do a bar rescue. So, I mean, I doubt it'll ever happen, but he reached out. We had, you know, we're pretty close now with some of the other big bartenders and some of the other chefs on the app itself, just because it's cool for networking. Like, we'll shout each other out on lives, on different videos. Like, I sent them all my t-shirts, and then they rocked them in videos, and, you know, people started buying them up. So
that's
like, huge, man.
Yeah,
and I was thinking about, I was like, dude, like, I could see your dad just being like one of those professional. Like I said, I spoke with Johnny before. Like, I reached out to him on his live, and I was like, you want to come on the podcast? He's like, yeah, shoot me a DM. We're talking about it, and I'm just like, dude, so you guys are like mixologists? Like, what's going on here? You were like, no, we just picked up the hobby now. And I was like, what? I was like, I can see you guys literally helping and doing all that science on John Taffer's Bar Rescue. Like, it's crazy. Dude, but that's insane that you made that connection.
Right. Oh man, if we can make something like that, that'd be huge. But I think you hit a really good point where, for TikTok, I'll give you, like, I guess a reason why I think we're growing pretty well is you got to stick with what's working for your page, right? And so what I think is working for our page is, number one, he's an older dude. He has that classy associated with him. He appears to know what he's doing. So any video that it's almost like a how-to, like, okay, I'm going to teach you how to make a drink, and we make it very step-by-step process. Those videos do the best because that's what people want to see. So for anyone out there that's trying to scale their TikTok page or Instagram page, whatever sort of social media, find what works for you and hammer that, you know, 24/7. Don't try to deter and go with things that you like. Go with what's working.
You know, I think you're literally like the correct person to be on this podcast, because you're so young and you have already this mindset and so driven. Where did you gain this mindset of just you wanted to do more? I feel like whatever you're saying here, and props to you, like, where did you get this mindset that you want more? Like, I feel like, yes, you have this TikTok and you're like, yeah, I have this, but now I have the shirts. Oh, we have the shirts. Right. Now I'm doing this. Like, that's huge, man. Where'd you get this mindset? On top of it,
the founder of Stu United.
We'll talk about that too, man.
Before we dwell on that. Yeah.
Sure,
what's this killer mindset come from?
Man. I think it's just like the mentality of like competitiveness, right? Like growing up and seeing something and knowing what you want is very important. Whether it's through reading books or interviews or having people in your life that are influential, you know what you want, and you see how they got there, you know? So it's like, okay, this individual, like, we'll take my dad. Now he's working at home, right? And all I see that dude do is work. So he's always down here 10, 12 hours a day, just grinding, right? Whatever he can do. So you see that and say, okay, if I want to make something out of my life, I have to sort of emulate that. Or I'll read a book and say, okay, this dude did this. And so I think it's just, there's never like an end goal. Like, there's never, okay, I made this much money, or I had this many followers, I'm going to stop. It's just always striving for a little extra every day.
And you know what's crazy? You say that because me and Tao were in a video call, a Zoom call that my school did with Ken Austin. I don't know if you know who Ken Austin is, but Ken Austin is the one who started Avion Tequila. And
also he's the partner of I think he's the co-founder of Terramana, and you did a video with that. Your pops did a video with The Rock.
Side note, if you guys can introduce me to him and whatever we get out of this, I'll split compensation with you guys. 100%.
So
I'm not even kidding, man.
So Ken Austin is someone we've actually been, trying to get on our show as well, to kind of like, because he went on there, and the one thing that came out of him was this man's Avion, right? Avion Tequila. And he got it on Entourage for free and paid these guys, like, to pay them to put it on the show, like, for free, whatever they wanted to do with it. Sold the company, got into another tequila company, sold that, got into another tequila company. And you're like, bro, when do you stop? Like, when is there, like, I'm rich enough already. Yeah. Like when is the end? Yeah. So
I feel this, dude. I feel the same way sometimes because, like I said, I'm young too. Like, where we have all these big hopes and dreams, and you're like, okay, when I do make it big with whatever it is, the TikTok or Stu United, what am I gonna do after that? Am I gonna have that drive? And sometimes you're like, why would I? Like, I already made it. I already did what I had to do. I'm probably just gonna chill. But then, like in the back of your head, you're not going to. Right? You're gonna catch the bug to do it over again, because it's more about doing it, the accomplishment of actually doing it, than the end result. And you start to realize that when you have these little successes, right? It doesn't have to be huge. And I'm not saying I've had huge successes yet, but you get a taste for it and you just want more.
Honestly, like the success, when you have a goal, right? The biggest part of the goal is you working to get that. Because once you get to that point, that goal you want, you got the $100 you wanted. Now you're like, I got it. Like now, what's the next goal? Like it's the process that's really what's part of you. You know what I mean? So without it, I agree with exactly what you're saying right now. But the thing is, at our age though, it's rare. Like it's hard, man. It's hard to find people like that. It is.
Well, look, I mean, that's when you guys are the next Joe Rogans, right? You're not going to look back and say, I'm going to stop now, right? Because you're never going to know when you get there, right? It's just you're always going to feel like you need more, which is a great thing. I think that's, you're not content with your current situation. You could be happy, but doesn't mean you're going to stop. So,
but I one side note to add to that, it's like our goal is not even to become a Joe Rogan. Like our goal is to add more to that. You know what I mean? It's like what you're saying right now is just add more than just a TikTok. Like, and man, you having a kid go to college 10 years from now going, hey man, I became successful because of that podcast I used to hear when you guys were 20 years old. Yeah. Like, are you serious? That's worth more than money. That's worth more than anything. And it's like the content you bring out, I'm not a TikTok guy, and I started looking you up and watching these videos. And I sat there for like an hour watching every video. It's interesting stuff, man.
I love it, man.
You enjoy it.
Seriously.
That's what we say too. It's like, look, you're not gonna learn, and look, you could learn how to really make some drinks, but it's more about just the entertainment. You're watching a 30, 40-second clip and it's just fun, right? It's nothing, it's laid back. It's bringing you to, the feeling of almost like a movie in December, right? Like where you sort of see these scenes of holidays or Christmas and you catch that Frank Sinatra vibe. That's what we're trying to give off. And if we can sort of have you escape from reality for that 60 seconds, and so be it. So yeah, you brought up like a real good point where like when people reach out and like, you saved my day, or I was feeling so upset and now I don't because of this video. It's like, that's awesome, right? That's such a sense of gratitude.
That's awesome, man. It's like genuine too. One other thing I took out of your video is just genuine. Like your pops, I'm very close to my pops. So when I saw you close to him that way, I'm like, damn, like that kind of is like how I feel. Like you feel like part of the video, like, damn, they're not really doing it for money. They're not really trying to get you to buy a t-shirt. No. They're just literally making this just so you can have fun. Like,
right.
Seriously. Right. And you just like, you bring that vibe. It's just like, you got that, like that one thing that you could bond with your pops with every single day. And it's awesome. You work with him. That's awesome.
It's, what's real funny is my mom doesn't drink. And so she sort of like, she hates it, despises, like never let us drink before we were 21, hates it in the house. And so now, like you mentioned, that's the one thing my dad and I bond over is making drinks. And we're making drinks maybe 3 or 4 times a week in this house. And she's just like, how did this happen? But I want to hit on like, yeah, of course, my dad and I have a great relationship and you can see that through the videos. But it's still a father-son relationship, right? We still fight. Yes. We still, there are times where we don't speak to one another. And so what I want to get across, like people are always like, you have the perfect life. And I want to trade places with you. And look, I'm extremely grateful and blessed to live how I live, but you got your own problems and everyone does, so keep that into perspective. Whenever you see any influencer, right? It's not all what it's cracked up to be always,
No, of course. And it's true. It's just, you got to just enjoy your life. Like what is perfect? What is perfect for you? Like nothing's ever going to be perfect. Exactly. I'm going to bring this analogy back, and I'm sorry for all the viewers out there, but the female, you'll get a female and there's always going to be a prettier female than that person. There's always going to be this. It's just true. Like there's always going to be more. Oh, she has more features than this one. Like, no, bro, just be happy with what you have and add to that. Exactly. Add to what you have. Exactly. Add to your craft. So
I will say though, those sort of comments, they put my life into perspective and allow me to feel extremely grateful for what I do have. Right, like when I forget to sort of give thanks, I look at them like, man, I do live a really great life, and I should be thankful for something like that. So
honestly,
so it goes both ways, right? When you feel like your life isn't that great, you have to reflect on what is, So
let me
but nevertheless, you do have a great, like in general, a great father and son relationship, whether on camera or off camera, and that's the thing that to keep in perspective. And obviously, like you said, there's no such thing as a perfect life. We're gonna deal with ups and downs, but being able that you're working with your dad now, and continuing to like bring in new content with this page, and of course working on your IG and all that. I mean, do you feel any pressure developing new content with your pops? I mean, like sometimes maybe he's not down to record or whatever. Like, what does that go on with the mindset? I mean,
you don't even know, man, because it's always it's more often now is the opposite, where it's like a Tuesday and he's like, oh, I got this great idea. I saw something online. Like, let's go downstairs. And I'm like, damn, it's like, come on. but like, you're right. Like, so he's normally the one pushing it, but I'll also have to push it. Like, there are times where it's the opposite. So, do we feel pressure? No, I think it's always fun, right? And even like I said, I could not post for a week and I'll still get hits off like my last stuff. So it's not like I'll ever die and I'll never go that long, or I just don't see myself going that long without posting. But yeah, there's really no pressure. This was started out as like a fun hobby. And so we try to maintain that I guess image or emotion compared to actually starting a real business, And so if we can make money doing it, so be it.
So what is your goal? Like, what was your goal? What do you aspire to work at? Like, if you were to say yourself 5 years from now, this is what I want to be at, what would you say that would be?
Aside from Johnny Drinks, or like with the TikTok?
No, just in general. Like, for example, like, hey, like my goal in life is to buy my first house. For me, for example, is my first house I want to buy. I want to rent it out. I want to get my life into real estate. Like, that's what my goal is.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what is it for you, man?
So I think because I'm in this whole startup world now, and I had this idea, and I guess you can call me an entrepreneur, which I sort of hate that word anyway, but
really?
And we can talk about that too, but I never really, like, I wasn't growing up in high school saying I want to be an entrepreneur, but now that I'm in the space, I can't see myself doing anything else, right? So with Stunited, wherever that goes, if that scales to every college campus in the country, or if it gets bought out by somebody else, whatever I do with that, my next move or my next venture will more often than not, or more likely than not, be in the startup world. Whether I'm an angel investor or I'm an advisor to another company, or I start another company myself, I always want to be in this realm. It's like an addiction, man. It's so exciting to take something that was not real, it wasn't existent in this world, and you, because of whatever you did, it's now striving and it's creating real value for somebody else.
Why don't you like the word entrepreneur, if I may ask?
Well, I think it's extremely overused nowadays, right? And you see everybody that has an idea call themselves an entrepreneur. And not that you have to earn it, but it's like you got to put in the work to at least reach some level or status of I'm doing something, right? Like,
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, so I think it's extremely overused, and when I hear it, the first connotation that I always have when someone says that's what I am is like, you're fake, right? You're not really doing something. You're kind of just wishy-washy. You really don't know what you want to do, so you're going to claim that you're an entrepreneur. So I think entrepreneurship and startup is a fantastic thing. I just think nowadays most people really aren't about it.
You feel like you got to earn that. It's like a trophy. You got to win that. You got to win that respect. Like, you got to be like, you can't just say, meet someone new. Yeah, like, I'm an entrepreneur. And they're like, what do you do? Yeah, like,
I have this sort of idea. Like, yeah. You know what it also does is, like, it washes out and it makes it a lot harder for the real ones, right? So for example, if you are a real entrepreneur and you go to raise money, the vetting process to raise money nowadays compared to even 5-10 years ago is so much harder because there's so many fakes out there. So they can't afford to bet on you because they have to make the assumption that you're not real, right? So you have to go through the process of interview after interview after interview, or cold emails, and it's just not working. And it's almost like a frustration because you know the reason why. And it's because there's so many people out there that are claiming to be something they're not.
You know, it's crazy that I was just having this conversation with Sal before. It's like, I feel not pressure, but I feel like a weight above me right now to work harder than I ever have, because I can't sit here and tell you and motivate people and say, yeah, like, go out there, wake up early, work out, do your thing, if I'm not doing that. Like, right, yeah, take school serious. That if I'm not doing that, I'm being a hypocrite. I am, like, the universe is gonna slap me in the face sooner or later. So I agree with exactly what you're saying. It's so many fakes out there. You see so many videos nowadays of people with maybe 2 subscribers, and they're like, yeah, like, look what I'm doing right now. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing now? Like, where are you? Like, no offense, but don't tell me you're working at McDonald's and that's what you're doing. Like, no offense, like, work at it. Like, become a manager, become an owner.
I feel like it's also about a lot about consistency. You know what I mean? Like, we got to be true to our word. We got to mean it. You know what I mean? And like yourself, I mean, you're going out, you're making these videos on TikTok, but also you're working on the side. You got the, now let's go and talk about it. You got that side, business, Stunited. It's a huge business. And, similar, we were talking about, me and Oliver, like what it's kind of reminds us of. It's almost like a TikTok, not a TikTok, a Tinder for like kids that are just looking for a study buddy. You know what I mean?
So
like, it's
yeah,
pretty
man,
cool.
Yeah. So thank you. It's actually really funny you said that this is my side hustle, because like this is what I've been doing for like 3 years now. This is like my real,
Really?
yeah. So this is like my real deal thing. And then obviously
Okay.
it's sort of on the side. But it's our slogan in the very beginning was, we are the Tinder for tutoring. So it's funny you mentioned that, but what we have now transitioned into is becoming more, think of like an academic marketplace for students to upload their assignments and barter with one another to find that help. And I think that the reason for me starting this was when I was in college. I was a sophomore, and I always found myself either bartering my skills in exchange for help, or finding unique ways to get that help. Whether it was paying my friend or helping my friend inside or outside of school, I was doing whatever it took to get that assignment done. And so what we like to say is, we're not trying to reinvent the wheel. We're trying to make the process of academic bartering, the process you're already going through, a lot simpler. And especially now with what's going on with the whole online learning, kids are afraid. They really don't know what's going to happen. They're going to lack communication, right? When you were sitting in a classroom, you didn't know a problem, you could reach out to the dude right next to you and say, hey, help me out. You may not have that anymore, right? So you need access to a database of other students that are ready and willing to help you out.
That's huge, man. How do you come up though, even though that's a great idea, and honestly, like, you had the platform, but how does it come out? How do you come up with like a Tinder based thing? Like how did you get, like, like, it was smart. I was watching the videos you guys have on YouTube, and it's like the girl that walks past the guy, and it's like, you're on Tinder right now?
That's so funny, man. Those are so old, dude. That's crazy. I got to make some more videos, because the new platform is a little bit different. I guess the idea came from me being a student and knowing what students want to see. And so that added some fun and excitement to finding academic help, which is extremely dull and boring nowadays. So if we could say, hey, get on a platform that feels very familiar to a social media or a dating app, but now you're finding academic help, it's it's a win-win for everybody.
Want to hear something crazy too? Like, you're a go-getter, and I respect that, because one of my things was, I used to say, I want to be rich. I want to be successful. I want to be rich. But it's like, successful person told me one time, why do you want to be rich? Like, why? I'm like, I just want money. Like, for what? Like, why do you need a certain amount of money to be happy? And I'm like, that's so true. And then I came up with the reason why I want to be successful and rich is because my goal in life is to open up tutoring centers all over. Just like when I came up, and I came as an immigrant from Dominican Republic, I struggled. And I went to a tutoring center that was free. And I sat there for hours, and they sat there and helped me. I learned English, I learned math, I learned social studies thanks to them. So that was my goal. The reason why I'm like, you know what? That should be what my real end goal BO is going to be. It's like, that's my goal one day. So opening as much tutoring centers as I can, hopefully non-for-profit, like hopefully have kids from the community come there for volunteer work or something, and create that platform. So I commend you for that, bro. That's the first step right there to the new generation, the new future. So I agree.
That's a great story, man. And you can use that story, right? Because that's real. And when you go to start this, people are going to resonate with that, and they're going to gravitate more towards what you're doing, as opposed to somebody else, because you're doing it out of, for real reasons, right? And because you're trying to help other people that were in situations that you were in, type of thing. So that's awesome, man. That's a really cool story.
No, it is. I mean, Sal, we had it before. Like, I didn't want to get into it because we had the whole episode before. Like, my story, the reason I created this podcast is literally because I was a student athlete. As a student athlete, you're taught two things: play your sport and figure out how to get the homework done. AKA, you know what it is. Like, get someone to do it, get anyone to just figure it out, get it done.
Right.
So when I had a cardiac arrest at school, my sophomore year, the whole different story. It was on my last episode, so I don't want to, but I was down for 4 days, and it took 10-day process to get back. And I lost school, I lost baseball, I lost a girlfriend, all in the matter of that time frame. So I said to myself, what am I going to do in my life? What now? A year later, I lost baseball. Like, I'm not playing anymore. And I understand why, but I wanted to still make it different. I still wanted to market myself like an athlete. Like, you don't need to be an athlete to just market yourself. So that's one of the things that I've just always focused on. And I know Sal's the same way. Like, just putting our voice out there, man. It's just, I don't know. I'm ready right now.
That's crazy, man. And I think sports are really reflective of like life. And you talk about like the competitive edge. It comes from that, right? Like when you're trying to go and become from JV to varsity, you got to varsity, right? But you're not starting. You're not going to stop there. Now you're starting, but you're not going to stop there because you want to be the best on your team. But you're not going to stop there because you want to be the best in the county, and then the tri-county, whatever it may be, right? So you're always striving for more, but you're always happy in that moment, type of thing. You have to always really appreciate where you came. Like your story is incredible, right? You're an immigrant. You learn English. Just learning English alone is a massive feat, and you were able to do it, and you brush it off like it's nothing. But look back on that sometimes, man, and realize how much you've been able to accomplish.
You're gonna tell me like after the whole situation happened, and I'm having this quarantine, I'm inside, and I'm looking back, and I'm like, man, but a year ago I was like, I could have died like a year ago, and I'm here, I'm breathing, I'm smiling, I'm laughing. Like, let's get my shit together. Like, let me get my stuff ready. Like, let me motivate. Like, there's a reason why I'm here, so why not look for it? Like, you can't sit back and expect it to come to you. Go find opportunities. Like networking like this. You never know like who you're gonna like bring to your life that's just gonna motivate you and inspire you to be more. So I don't know, man. I'm passionate about this. I'm really passionate. So
no, that's you. Like I said in the beginning, you guys come with the right energy, right? You guys are clearly passionate about what you're doing. You're not overly cocky, and you know the direction you want to go in. And that's like the best thing you guys could be right now, because we are young. We're not experts, but we're willing to learn. And then every single episode, you get better and better, right? You reflect on moments that you had last time and pull from that, and say, oh, I remember when somebody else said this, and now you're contributing to conversations.
Because as much as the generation, Denzel Washington, the twerk world we live in, it's like you want to be part of that generation that's like, these are the guys that made the difference. You know, these are the people that like really use the twerk world, this social media world, to their advantage, not to just lose themselves in the sauce. So like you said, entrepreneur, everybody calls themselves an entrepreneur now, but what are you doing? What is it?
Right. Johnny, you brought up a great, go ahead.
I was just going to say, like, before, like, you hit it on the head. Like, you know, we're new to this. We're growing. You know, we're not perfect. We're kids. We got kids our age that can relate to us. And that's kind of why we kind of established this podcast. You know, we want to be a voice that not only not to sound perfect and, you know, like that we have so much experience, it's somewhat to, you know, relate to, like I said, relate to, inspire from our guests. You know, we have guests from all across sports, coaches, agents, you know, professional players, but also a person like yourself that, you know, young, just got out of college, you're still inspired to go above and beyond and, you know, take on new routes in your life. You know what I mean? So it's something that any kid in any occupation can take from. And honestly, I'm glad I picked you, man. I can't believe it. I was just like, how in the world, how did you get this guy, man? And I was just like, why not? Just network.
I always, and that's like the number one thing, right? It's always a no if you don't ask, type of thing. But like, I don't feel like I'm anything special on TikTok, especially. So like when people reach out to me or like ask me a question, I'm always responding. And it's almost like weird for me when people are like, oh my God, I can't believe you responded. Because like, yeah, of course I did. Like, why wouldn't I? Because I'm in the position in my real life with the opposite, where I'm constantly reaching out to whether it's angel groups or angels and individuals that I want to work with. And of course you get no's, you know, 99% of the time. And then you get that one yes, and you're like, oh my God, I can't believe they answered. So like, I know what it feels like, type of thing. And I'll never let somebody feel like, oh, he's too good for me. You know?
No, that's very humble that you say that. You know what I mean? It's like you said, you're not overly cocky. You mean like you relate to anybody else that's trying to go out there in the real world network and whatnot.
That's it, man. So that's it. And like, yeah, you guys are engaging and fun to talk to, right? You pull out the best from your guests, and that's like all you can ask for.
Yeah, man. It's just like, come on, like let's show a little positivity together. Let's grow together. Like, tell me what you did that's inspired you to get where you're at or what you want to be. Like, let's work together here. Like, let's build a whole platform to just jump from. Like, it's like a trampoline effect. It's like right now, me and Sal, we're jumping on a little small trampoline. The more people we get to meet, it's like the trampoline expands and expands and expands. So you.
Hopefully we get that one guest. Then
that's a good analogy. That's a good analogy, man. I like that. Yeah. I like that analogy. I mean, speaking about that, man, I would love to see what we can do with Student United at FDU. So after this, like,
I was thinking about that. Absolutely, we can link about that.
We'll make sure it pops off.
You know,
sure.
it was crazy.
Perfect.
Yeah, it would. Like, it's crazy. We had our administrative, what do they call them? Basically, administration, on that show.
Our administration. I mean, we had an alumni that was a business major, and you spoke with our student advisor, Mary Sakin, and she's the one that connected us with Ken Austin. And again, like I said, like when we had this, you know, we call it a PDP event. It's a professional development program. It's where kids can like really network, speak with, and listening to, you know, professionals. And Ken Austin, I mean, that's the founder, partner of Terramana, Proper 12 with Conor McGregor. You know what I mean? Like, this is a big deal.
You know what's funny? That's why I knew the name. He liked one of my videos.
Yes, and I saw that, and I was like, that's awesome.
That's so funny because I saw his name. What we could do, and so like we'll have like 2 goals here. Is obviously on the TikTok side is let's try to connect with Ken as much as we can. But what it allows you guys to do is it's an introduction, right? You're now automatically approaching him with some sort of value. Hey, I found this TikToker that would love to promote your brand. So like you guys are not asking for anything, you're giving immediately, which is great. And it's twofold because now you're helping me out and I can help you out in exchange. So let's definitely talk about that. And then number 2, I'd love to see what we could do at FU. I think the opportunity that we have, especially because your advisors are sort of reaching out and saying, hey, we need to help you guys. This is the app to do it, right? And if we push it properly, we get the message across the way it's supposed to get across. This app could catch fire very quickly, and you guys can see yourselves as like, you know, athletes,
bro.
You know,
athletes will jump on this right away. Are you serious?
Athletes,
I would promote it to athletes as much as possible. Like, reach out to the video. Like, they would jump on this right away.
Yeah,
all business majors would enjoy this, and kids in general, actually.
Our thing right now, our campaign is focused on Greek life. So Rutgers, we have a pretty big incentive program where we're going to we are talking to the presidents and essentially helping them out financially, but we want them to get on this app. So that's almost like our promise to you, where we'll donate to your fraternity budget. And in exchange, all we're looking for is to get on an app that's going to help you regardless, right? And so my job is to make sure that as soon as you get on it, you see the value. If I'm selling you shit and I get 1,000 downloads, but no one really wants it, that's on me. So as long as we can get the eyeballs on the app, I'm confident that they're going to use it.
Bro, you know what's crazy too? It's kind of like what me and Sal are doing with this podcast. It's like about getting eyeballs onto the podcast. Like, we just want people just to sit there. Like, if it's not for you, don't watch it. Like, we're not forcing you to watch it.
Right.
But there is people that will reach out to you and be like, yo, like, this is really worth it. Like, look at that opportunity that we're just creating for each other that we had no idea about. We're just connecting the dots. The trampoline, baby. The trampoline.
I'm going to use that analogy, man. I like that. And I think, like guys, you guys have a cool dynamic too, because you 2 are different. So you both add to the podcast. And what you're going to find in like a year from now, you're going to find, like I mentioned, like your sauce, right? What works and what doesn't work. And now every podcast you're going to, you know, gear more towards, you know, that sort of path, right? And you don't know yet because you don't know what works. You haven't been doing it. How long have you guys been doing this, by the way?
3 months.
3 months.
Yeah. So you have no clue. When 6 months go by, you got to look back and say, okay, this podcast was great, but this one sucked. Let's go more towards this one.
But then also what we realized was there's going to be different people you interview, different people that come on the show. That's going to bring a different atmosphere. Like, we've had
different
kids,
audience.
different audience. Like, we've had kids in the track world where a football player might not watch, but in the track, people love these people. Like, we had an Iceland kid that broke the record in Iceland. Like, we had a runner that's trying to compete for the Olympics. We had an MLS soccer player that just got drafted. Like, these are people that will only connect to their sort of like
you'll have soccer fans watching that, football fans watching that. But ultimately, I mean, I wanted to add the business perspective as well, since I'm a business student, because I want students that are athletes that need help, that need to reach out for help. They can relate it to this because they can hear 1 from an athlete and 2 from a business major. And of course, 3 from a professional guest like yourself, you know?
Right.
Really good.
No, man, I think what, I think it's a really good, cool idea is understand the value that your specific guest can offer, right? So for example, you have this professional soccer player. What value can he offer to your potential guests or viewers? Maybe it's tips on how to rise up in the ranks. And now you sort of channel your questions based around that. So you pull as much great value from him as possible. And now your viewers are like, oh my God, this is fantastic. This is exactly what I wanted to hear.
No, bro. And it's huge. I mean, like I tell Sal this all the time. Like, one of my closest friends, Jose Reyes. Like, I don't know if you know who he is, but the Mets player. Like,
I was gonna say the professional Mets player. What are you talking about?
Yeah, Jose Reyes. Yeah, he's one of my closest friends.
You said his name. I was like, what are you talking about? No way.
Yeah, he's one of my closest friends.
We'll send you a picture. I couldn't believe it either.
Yeah, he's literally one of my closest friends. Like, me and him were texting. Like, literally, I was sending him stories yesterday. Like, yo, remember this day? Like, It's crazy. And I was telling Sal's like, you got to get on my podcast. So I'm like, you have so much respect for these people that I want to be able to have a direct platform, a respected platform before you pitch it to them, because there is that respect level. Even though me and him are close, even though I could call him right now, he'll pick up. It's like, I want him to know this isn't a joke.
Sure.
Like, we had Pedro Martinez's brother confirm that he wants to be on the show. Like, this is like nuts, bro. Like,
dude, you guys are,
these are people that you're like, this. You could network from that, man. It's like, it's huge.
I think you're right, because you only get like one shot of the first impression. So if he gets on his podcast, he'll do it, like you said, but you don't want him to feel hesitant about promoting it. You want him to get on this podcast, have a great time, and then post about it on every one of his social medias. And then once you guys start popping off, that's when it's like that snowball effect starts happening.
And when you have people like that, you don't want them to feel like they're being used. Like, oh, you're just coming on because of the people you have. Like, no, you're coming on because how cool you are. Like, you're one of the most down-to-earth people there are. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, you just want to have, like you said, you don't want to have a dick on the show. You don't want to have someone who's going to be mopey and stuff. We won't post it. Like, we just won't, which we've never had, by the way. But,
yeah, luckily everybody's been, very enthusiastic. They've loved the conversation. Like yourself, dude, the minute we heard you come out, we were like, this is going to be a good show. As much as like the technical issues in the beginning, like this, honestly, this is like one of my favorite shows already. And you know what I mean? Like, because one, you're not, obviously this is the first time you're not an athlete. You're strictly, a businessman.
He's ripped, though. Don't get me lying. He's ripped.
He's shredded.
You ain't shredded.
My fault. Shredded. No, you and your pops got built. So, but like I said, hearing it from a different perspective, I say it right now. Like, this is one of my favorite guests. Like, I don't know.
I think it's cool to see that, because it's like, yeah, we're, I used to play sports, but I still pulled from that. And you sort of see your athletes now, of course, they're pulling from that experience, but it just shows how valuable it is to play something, at least one part in your life, and be real competitive with it.
You know what I respect a lot about this a recording we've had is just honesty. Like, you're honest. Like, the entrepreneur thing really hit it out the park. Like, don't call yourself that if you're not doing anything. Earn the respect, work hard. Like, we are nowhere near The Rock. We're nowhere near Kevin Hart. We're nowhere near these guys yet. But why can't we get there though? Like, you can't tell me we can't get there. There's no reason we can't get there. But you can't sit here and be like, oh, I sat home in quarantine the whole time. And
I agree.
Like, no, bro. Like,
100%.
It was amazing having you on the show, brother.
Amazing having you on the show.
Oh, man. Yeah. Again, thank you guys for having me. I wonder what my dad.
Absolutely.
What are my dads doing? See if he can say what's up. You guys mind if I bring him over?
Yeah, bring him in.
Yeah, bring him over. We'll send it off with him.
yeah.
We'll send it off.
Let's see. Dad, what are you doing? What are you doing?
We got to get Mr. Rondi himself.
Hey, I'm on a podcast right now. They want to say hi to you. All right. Huh?
That's it.
The boss man.
The big boss man.
The boss man.
Yeah. Yeah, man, it's again, it's so funny because now I have more people reaching out to me about TikTok and not Stu United. I was like, what the fuck, man? I've been busting my ass for 3 years with Stu United.
Why don't you put it on your TikTok though? Why don't you
I think you have. I think he has, but like the views, it's just
it's so weird. Like I said, if it's not, I'm gonna make like a blue and yellow drink because those are their colors, and then say huge announcements. United has raised X amount of dollars, or we have hit this metric.
It's not a bad idea.
Yeah, when I post it, yeah, exactly.
Sponsored by the final two.
It's so weird. I'll get like 10,000 hits, and I'm like, this is ridiculous. So
the final two get something like that.
Yeah,
that's what I was gonna say, man.
Can you help me like post my first TicTok? Like maybe say like a little like a little merengue or something.
I'm thinking what we could do. Like maybe I can go. Obviously, I'll repost. Like if you guys make a video of this and like throw it on TikTok, I'll repost it and I'll do edit. But I'm thinking of different creative ways we can do something. Maybe definitely next time, anytime I go live, hop on and just be like, "Yeah, what's going on, man?" And I'll shout you guys out every time. That usually works. And then any content you guys make with me in it or just in general, I'll share it any way I can.
We appreciate
We'll figure it out. Yeah.
We'll figure it out. We'll help each other out because honestly, like it's just how it is. Like after you, like if you want to come after you, we have the right people where we could just throw the alley-oop right there. I know personally a lot of athletes. Like I know every athlete in the school knows me. So like I would literally like hit like exactly what I did with the final two. I texted them and like texted them myself and said click on the link and. You just never know who really
listen straight up, and I said this to somebody at Rutgers. I was like, if we to go and this scale properly, you will make a lot of money. And I'll say the same thing to you guys. If we can take over FDO properly, I will make sure you two are taken care of, because it means a lot more to me that you guys are emotionally invested right now. You want to help out. And if it works, I can leverage that way more than you think I could. And like I said, I pay for people's time.
Yeah, trust me, the money, everything like that is great and all, but trust me, I do it just to like see you winning, bro, will make me feel without a doubt way better than any money you could ever give me. Because the fact that
I know that
this young and so motivated.
Absolutely. I mention this always in our episodes. Yeah.
That's it.
The big pops himself.
Let me.
Hold on. Can you guys?
Rondi. Yes, sir.
Hold
How
on.
you doing?
Good. How are you guys? So we just had
a
podcast.
Just had a great episode.
They asked us all about our TikTok and how we came to be and all the years of experience we have making drinks and yeah. So
did you ask him if he cleaned his room today?
Yeah.
Did you clean your room, man? What's going on?
Always clean, man.
Nah, thank you for coming on, man. Seriously, and shout out your pops, man. You guys have the best relationship with the drinks and all that. So this is the final 2 podcast. Like and subscribe. Thank you for coming on, man. And shout out Johnny Drinks.
You guys
on TikTok.
Good. Thanks.